Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today, we're going to be talking about whether you are bad in bed if your wife doesn't want to have sex. And many guys make this, assumption because they get some feedback, and I'll talk about what the feedback is, that, basically that the woman is not thrilled in bed. And then they conclude that the only reason that she wouldn't be thrilled in bed is that they're bad in bed. So then they're supposed to do all this stuff, and whatever. They're supposed to learn about how to be better in bed, this, that, the other. But the reality is that they weren't bad in bed in the first place. So all the learning is, not useless, because all learning is positive. But, certainly not maybe where they should have been, spending the majority of the limited time they have on this earth. Before that, please do subscribe. My most recent subscriber episode was the myth of the no-win situation, and I have lots and lots of others. It's going to be 200 at some point in the next couple months, but now it's 175, something like that. All right, so anyway, and that's for $8.99, which is, I will promise you, in my perspective, that's like the cheapest possible way to get all of this information. It's literally just me talking. There's no bullshit. There's no filler. I don't stop to tell you about anything besides my own practice. and that is like usually 10 seconds. Okay, so anywho, are you bad in bed if your wife says things like, oh, it just doesn't feel like it used to, or I just don't like when you touch me anymore? No, that doesn't mean you're bad in bed. It means that she's out of the honeymoon stage, or her hormones have changed, or she's about to get her period, or she's in perimenopause. If she used to like what you did and she wasn't bullshitting you, then what you did was fine for her then. You could learn to do things different that she likes now, but this does not mean that, like, some guys conclude, especially if they already have low self-esteem, that they were always bad in bed. And she was just, humoring them and bullshitting them so they didn't feel bad. But in reality, she never liked it. Some women do lie, very few, but women that have no idea what good feels like say, oh yeah, I had an orgasm when they didn't. I have the whole podcast on why women fake orgasms. It's not because they're nefarious, malicious people. It's because they're trying to, move the thing along. They don't know what an orgasm is. They don't want you to get your feelings hurt. Everybody told them for their whole life to be a nice person. So this is what they think of as a nice person, the way that you tell them that they look nice in a dress that you don't like. And I mean, you could listen to the whole podcast if you want. The point is, the majority of people have this situation. The majority of people that I see in the situation that I'm talking about, where your wife implies that you're bad in bed after basically the honeymoon stage ended, they're dating a woman. The woman says they're the best that she ever had, because she never really liked sex, And so you love her so much, you try so hard. So yeah, sure, you're the best she ever had, for sure, and she's, with every increasing partner, she has a little more experience, even if they're just partners she makes out with. So sure, the last one in the line is going to be the best one she ever had, because at least, she gets a little older, knows a little more about herself, whatever. But she's basically a low libido person that doesn't really like sex much. But yeah, you're the best she ever had, and you love her, and you're so sweet and everything. And she's drunk on new love. Her adrenaline is pumping, her oxytocin, her dopamine, her brain is lit up like a fucking Christmas tree, right? And so everything you do seems wonderful. Everything is wonderful. Listen to any love song as a reference for this. That's how she felt. So then you're doing the same shit that you did before. By the way, you feel no pain when you're in love. It's like an analgesic. So, if you're a little rough or you're a little touch her a little hard, she just thinks it's great too. Why not? Oh, how exciting. She doesn't even you don't feel hurt when you're in love. Everything is great. Your body is just pumping no pain hormones in every which way. So if you're a little rough or you go a little fast or whatever, she is excited. She does like it. You're good in bed, except if, she's in the rare situation that she literally is lying. That will be a different conversation. So that'll be a conversation where she's like, I never liked it in bed. That's a different conversation. I'm talking about the conversation where the woman says, oh, no, it changed. You changed. Something changed. Yeah, you know what changed? She's not drunk on new love. She has no education about the honeymoon stage, and she expects that the problem is you because she doesn't think the problem is her brain chemistry because she has no information that that could be the problem. So how would she know? It's like a person with no education doesn't know, right? So basically what she means is the same shit that used to feel good when my hormones were racing and I was in new love doesn't feel good. This doesn't mean you're, quote, bad in bed and a bad lover and all this stuff. It just means you have to learn different things. So now, she may not like things being as rough. She might not like, direct touching the way that she used to. You may have to go slower. You may have to barely touch her. There may have to be more edging, more foreplay, more massage, things like that to get her in the mood. She was always in the mood before. Remember also there's a main effect of youth, like a lot of people, like the woman was in her 20s at this point, and now she's in her 30s after kids. So not only does she drop like a stone out of the honeymoon stage, but her hormones are all different, or they met in the 30s or the 20s, and now she's in her 40s. That's totally different. I talk a lot about how women's bodies and brains change in their 40s. So basically the point is, you cannot take on this thing and become obsessed with that you're bad in bed and whatever and learn all these different techniques. What you need to learn is this specific woman, so yeah, it's like a push-pull. Yeah, sure, you can learn like overall what are various things that women like. You could research about erotic blueprints. You could take Heather's Lick It Right class. You could listen to my stuff on oral sex and whatever. And foreplay and all this. But basically, you need to educate your wife. You need to say, I've been thinking about this whole thing, how it feels different. I think it feels different because we used to be in the honeymoon stage. That's everything I'm reading about. It was like new relationship energy, so yeah, it felt good then. And now it doesn't feel as good. Now it's basically, I have to learn what your body likes now. So I want to be good in bed, certainly, but you got to help me a little bit. How's the kissing? That's a really good one to start with because a lot of women, when they're hyped up on new love, they ignore that the kissing style isn't great because it still excites them because, you're a novel partner for them to mate with, as I've talked about. So they don't care, that the kissing is too wet or it's too aggressive. Those are the main culprits. Or that you corkscrew your tongue around like a frat boy. And it's, she doesn't like it. She never liked it. But when she was feeling no pain, the analgesic of new love, then it was fine. So start with the kissing. Probably she'll be like, now, if your wife doesn't like kissing anymore, then you can conclude that this is an issue. So then you got to learn how to kiss her differently. You got to go slower. You got to use less, the wet, etc. Or how you touch her breasts. Like, you got to ask individual things. Go from the idea that like everything you're doing is wrong and that she has a new body, and the new body, by the way, women change over the course of the month too. When they're ovulating, they like a lot rougher and more exciting stuff than after they ovulate. So you got to ask her this, and don't ask her in the second half of her cycle. Ask her when she's actually excited. In the best part of the cycle, like the week before she ovulates is your best time, or the day before she ovulates. So the day she ovulates is really your best time. But, ask her when things are going well in bed, not like a fucking interrogation, not like she's being interviewed on CNN about, the nuclear issue. Like, just ask her like in a quiet, like not a lot of words, show me how to kiss you. Show me how to touch your breasts. Just that. Show me. Show me what you like. And then a lot of women will, a lot of women have been thinking, why doesn't he even care enough to figure out what I like, but then you say, why don't they say that? Because it's like super awkward. It's super awkward. Women who get into this situation are generally lower libido women that don't know a lot about sex. They've never seen porn, which is fine because porn doesn't go like regular sex, but they've never even read a full sex scene in a book, and they don't have any idea what they don't know. It would be like being dropped into a physics class and the physics teacher says, why don't you ask me specific questions about what you don't understand? You're like, I don't fucking understand any of it. I can't formulate a question. So that's how she feels about sex. She can't verbalize. She doesn't even know what she's supposed to be talking about. Women don't even understand that there's like different things kind of that like can be done. What they think, lower libido women, they think what you do is what you do. They used to like it. Now they don't. So maybe Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not. Who knows? But like whatever it is, it's done. It would be like going to a restaurant if you're not like a super foodie and the burger is no good anymore. You used to like the burger, now you don't. You're not sitting there being like, I think what they did is they put in a little too much garlic. Like, no, you're just like, I don't like this anymore. And then you don't go back to the restaurant. So that's kind of what's happened with your sex life. So instead of concluding that you're bad in bed and going into this hopeless, stance like the learned helplessness dogs that I always talk about from the study, which you can Google, you got to take ownership of your sex life and not expect her to take ownership of something she doesn't even understand. You got to say, everything I'm reading says this is totally normal. You were hyped up on all these hormones, so basically everything was exciting. And now you're not, so you've changed. I've changed. Everybody's changed. You note that I'm not, like planning out dates every 3 seconds like I used to either. This is normal. We're in a deeper stage of our relationship, but we got to be more mindful. So just like maybe I have to schedule some more date nights to be more romantic, you got to try here to tell me what I'm doing wrong, please, because I don't want to have a sexless marriage, and obviously I'm fucking up. The more non-defensive you can be, by the way, many, many, many women have told me online, in session, every which way, that they try to give feedback to men, some women do, and the man sulks and he doesn't respond, or he says like literally crazy shit, like, well, no, you used to like this, so this is what we're doing. What the hell? So if you are somebody like that, that's very defensive, how are you ever going to get laid? She's just going to give up. She's going to be like, he literally doesn't care what I like at all. And in reality, it's just your anxiety that's making you being defensive, but that doesn't help anything. So you got to be completely non-defensive. I have a podcast about how to get genuine sexual feedback from your wife. So that's a companion piece to this one. You could go listen to that. And the point is here's the 3 bullet points. The first one is create a non-defensive space where it's a fact that there exists something called the honeymoon stage. That's a biological stage in a couple's life where they feel differently about each other. Everybody gets into it. Everybody gets out of it. And it's totally normal. And then after that, you may need to build, sometimes from scratch, an understanding of what each other enjoys in bed. Also, the erotic blueprints can be helpful with this. Working with Heather, my sexologist, could be helpful with this. Like researching on the internet, like, foreplay, like not on Pornhub, but, on like literally like what is foreplay? Like I have podcasts on this shit. I have like literally what is foreplay, I think. But point being, you don't know what she likes now. That's nothing to take personally. That's no reason to rend your garments and say, oh my God, I'm bad in bed. You're not given a chance to be good in bed because she doesn't understand that that things are going to feel different now. So you got to first establish that, right? So that's point number 1. Point number 2 is you got to figure out literally, you saying, show me. After you've researched some things, at least, then you say, show me. And then she can also show you some things that she likes. And then also the last one is, if that doesn't work, then couples counseling can really help, because there's some people that are like, what are you smoking that you think my wife would tell me what she likes? Man, she's basically in a catatonic state. It's like a Lifetime movie where the person's in a coma, and that's what my sex life looks like now. And the idea of her talking or showing me anything is just off the wall. Well, in that case, right, then you need to get into a safe space where somebody else can help you through bad discussion. I've talked to people and the husband has asked them over and over, why don't you like sex? Am I bad in bed? What's going on? What's going on? And then if I say something that resonates with her, then she'll agree. So like she has no idea how to push out the sentence, I don't like when you kiss me. She can't say it because it's so humiliating. It's embarrassing. It's talking about sex. It's hurting his feelings. It's all this stuff. And then, if I'm like, so what do you think of his kissing technique? I bet you probably don't like that. That's where it all starts. She's like, oh no, I don't like that because of this. It's like, it's just like it's been waiting there for like a decade, ready for somebody to say the right thing. And again, this isn't because she's a bitch. She's not hiding stuff from you. She's not bullshitting you. It's like literally the most like bizarre, like awkward thing possibly to say, especially if you were raised not to talk about sex. Like, to literally say to your husband that he's a bad kisser seems like, oh my God, we would basically be saying we're getting a divorce. I'd be the biggest bitch in the world. And I try to say to women, no, the biggest bitch in the world is somebody who lays there with, like, she's dead while she's having sex because she hates it so much but doesn't tell him anything. You know, not really the biggest bitch. You know what I mean, though? But like, that's worse. It's worse to not give him the feedback. And when people understand that, then they can be more open giving feedback. All right. I hope you are newly resolved and have some new kind of proactive stance about how you're going to right the ship of your sex life. Again, reach out to my people if you need. I have therapists. I have coaches. I have myself. You can always email me, what the hell is it? Samantha at drpsychmom.com or info@bestlifebehavioralhealth.com. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, guys.